When the cane toad appeared in more than 20 countries around the world, local predators turned out to be totally helpless. They've been trying to eat it for decades, but with no success. This could go on forever, until people intervened. They had to stop the predators from trying, otherwise the consequences would have been terrible. It all started when people decided the cane toads have an important mission on this planet to eliminate pests. By the 40s of the 19th century, they started bringing the unusual toads from South and Central America to the islands to fight all kinds of pests.
Brisbane and the hopes of the sugarcane industry sit squarely on the broad shoulders of these humble creatures known as cane toads.
At first, people hoped that the cane toads would deal with the rats. Things didn't work out. Then they were entrusted with exterminating beetles and showed slightly better results. People got excited, and eventually the cane toad spread to many countries, including Australia, the Philippines, and Japan. What could happen if you bring a species to a new habitat not intended for it? If you saw my other videos, then you must realize nothing good will come out of it. As it often happens, the invasive species prove to be incredibly resilient. Instead of destroying beetles on plantations, the toads began to multiply and spread in different directions.
Well, keep your eyes peeled. They're everywhere.
Of course, the local predators simply could not miss this opportunity. Imagine your favorite pastry shop comes up with a new cake. You would probably want to try it, right? Yeah, a toad cake. In short, the predators immediately started hunting the new species. But the cane toads were ready for this. They even let the predators eat them, because they knew they just had to wait a bit. Sometimes just a couple of seconds is enough, and it's not like toads taste so disgusting no one can stand it. Poison glands. They're located on the sides of the head and produce a toxic, milky white secretion. Once the animal is disturbed, its security system gets triggered right away, and it looks nasty. Looks like popping pimples. The difference is that the contents of the pimples are not trying to kill you. Toads can even shoot poison at predators if necessary. Moreover, it's really strong, mainly targets the heart and nervous system, causes convulsions, temporary paralysis, and quick death. It's quick indeed. A medium-sized dog that eats a cane toad will only have 10 to 15 minutes left to live. The smaller the animal, the more chances it has to die after poison exposure. But any predator is at risk. A snake, a bird, a mammal, even a fish. Some people manage to survive a nasty snack, some don't. I wonder if animals remember it's better not to touch this particular toad. Listen, this is the third time today. Why are we doing this again? All right. Actually, it happens a little differently. Snakes that survived after an encounter with a poisonous toad can leave offspring, and over time, some gene will decide, we will not die out this way. The life goes on. This doesn't necessarily mean immunity to poison, because sometimes it's enough to just change the size. See for yourself. The larger the snake, the more toxins are required to incapacitate it. But while snakes can adapt, northern quolls don't have time for it. Small animals that live in Australia are already endangered due to predators, fires, and human activities. Quolls already had enough problems when cane toads appeared in the country. Like many other native Australian species, quolls get poisoned after eating cane toads. Very quickly, the situation turned critical. The spread of the new species could not be contained, and the local animals were unaware of the danger it poses, and then people decided to enlighten the animals. Attention, don't eat toads. Toads are very harmful, and you can't eat them anyway. I repeat, do not eat toads. Well, it wasn't exactly like that, but people did use helicopters and sausages. Flying around the territory free from cane toads yet, they explored and dropped sausages made from the meat of these very toads with one interesting addition. The nauseating chemical should teach quolls not to hunt the dangerous species. Yes, not all animals will probably taste smelly sausages and be more careful in the future, but according to scientists, at least a few individuals can be saved this way. At the brink of extinction, it already counts as a victory. While some species are threatened by cane toads, others became quite good at dealing with them, especially those animals for which toads are something like a nasty neighbor they've known for a long time. Well, yes, it sprays poison, but one can get used even to this. Meat ants are immune to the poison of the cane toad, and the cane toad, in turn, is not particularly used to being eaten by anyone. Usually it just freezes and waits until the poison kicks in and the predator spits it out. But it doesn't work with ants. Well, now they will give up. Yes, I'll just sit a little longer. They will definitely give up. Now, just a little more. They don't seem to give up. And then I thought, imagine how funny it would be if ants used toads as a filling to have a snack, collect poison, and then use it for protection. Turned out, this really happens. But the other way around. The ants that are part of the diet of the little poison dart frogs are the source of the toxin that protects these frogs. Well, you've probably heard of them. Tiny, bright, and damn poisonous. Who could have thought that this poison was borrowed? And since even animals have learned to use toxins of other animals, people simply had to do something similar. Hunters of Embera-Wunan people traditionally milked cane toads to get poison and then smeared arrow tips with it. Okay. Actually, they were used for hunting big game. Remember what I said about the toad toxin? It causes temporary paralysis, which means that even one hit with an arrow in a random spot is enough for a successful hunt. But how do people eat this meat then? If the prey was poisoned, then surely there's a risk of being poisoned afterwards. Researchers have different theories. Someone says the key is the exact dosage and heat treatment, thanks to which the poison can be easily digested. There's another point of view which is easy to explain. Taking a snake as an example, if a venomous snake bites a human, he will die because toxins will enter the bloodstream and quickly reach the heart. But if you eat the same snake, its venom will not do any harm because it'll end up in the stomach. Enough time will pass for it to be absorbed into the blood, and by that time, there will be nothing to poison you. Perhaps if the toxins of the cane toad travel such a long way, they would also become harmless. What about animals that cannot neutralize the toad's poison with some deer cooked over a fire? Turns out you can avoid poisoning even if you have no immunity. You just need to be smart. Water rats learn to remove the gallbladder with surgical precision and then take out the liver and heart of the toads to eat them. Carefully and quickly, avoiding danger, these Australian rats fought the invaders. Crows have learned to flip toads, not to receive a dose of toxin right in their beak. Moreover, they also lift the toads to the branches of trees so that the prey stands no chance. In fact, I'd not be surprised if the birds began to use special tools and crush the toads with stones, trick them into wasting all the poison or something like that. Because that's exactly what birds do. They come up with ways to solve problems. I once talked about extracting the contents of eggs and turtle shells with the help of ancient Greek playwrights, but more often than not, vultures simply take stones in their beaks and use them as a hammer to break the shell of ostrich eggs. By the way, why not lift the eggs? Well, good luck trying. They're heavy and slippery. Moreover, if you throw stones from above, then the probability of hitting the target will be only 40 to 60%. Every time you have to go down, take a good cobblestone, take off, aim, it's too hard. Wait a minute. Why are eggs so strong anyway? After all, the shells are usually not very thick, but crushing an egg is a real challenge. The toughest areas of an egg are its top and bottom. If you push them at the same time, even a hen's egg can remain intact. It can support up to 128 pounds when standing upright. Its strength comes from its shape. The top of the egg is a three-dimensional arch, a dome, that is considered one of the most durable structures in the world. It's no coincidence that many old buildings have such ceilings which have not collapsed so far. Take the Roman Pantheon. It's almost 2,000 years old. But if the eggs are so strong, how do the chicks get out? There are hardly any suitable stones inside to break the shell. It's all about the spot you apply the force to. If you knock on the same place, micro cracks will appear on the shell and it will fall apart. This is why you can easily break an egg by hitting it with a knife, but it's hard to crush it. Oh, and by the way, a friendly word of advice, if you want to try it, do it over the sink. You definitely don't want to clean up the entire kitchen. And yes, while you're doing these egg experiments, the cane toads are taking over new territories. Just don't forget about it. See you later.